I'm so excited to have my guest here, Danielle. Welcome to Power to the People Pleasers.
Thank you so much, Amy. And power to the people pleasers.
Yes, yes. I'm excited for our topic today. I know you are a visibility consultant and strategist. I think all of us in business have the opportunity to show up in a bigger way, and this topic is one that's very much of interest to me. So I'm keen to dig in with you. But first, I always ask my guest on Power to the People Pleasers if you have ever been a people pleaser and how that has shown up in your life.
Oh my gosh. Yes. Yes. The answer to that is very simply yes, absolutely. Whether it was in my corporate career or even my first time out as an entrepreneur, absolutely was all about pleasing other people. I want everyone to like me. I think, like a lot of people, we just want people to like us, to get along with everybody. And I realized over my journey of self awareness is that I was putting what other people's needs and wants for what they wanted for me first and over mine. So whether I
Mhm.
get corporate or entrepreneur, I've experienced it. So I've definitely learned a lot from that
Mhm.
and learning how to really start pleasing myself first and understanding what I want instead of listening to everybody else.
I love that. And I'd love to know from your own experience, was there a particular moment, a catalyst where you were like, okay, no more of this?
What I think in corporate, it wasn't until I really stepped out when I looked back and said, whoa, yeah, at the end of the day, I'm a really big team player. I love being a team player and part of teams. And my mindset is we are doing this as a collective. It's not you against me, even if we're different apart in different departments. We are together a part of the bigger team. Whatever I need to do, I'm an all hands in, no job is too small kind of leader. And when I stepped out, I realized that that was a way of people pleasing, having that mindset of, well, if someone else isn't going to do it, then I need to do it. I will step in if I was asked to volunteer for certain things. It's like, okay, sure, just want to help you. This is going to help the collective. Great. However, looking back, it became by this desire to please others and to be this role that other people wanted me to be. I wasn't putting myself first. I got burned out and I really lost myself and really
Mhm.
understanding who am I if I'm not this to everybody else, who am I then to even myself and to my family?
Yeah. And I think you're bringing up an excellent point of this idea that uh, do we have to be a people pleaser in order to be a team player? No.
Yes. Ooh, good question there. That'd be a good call. Let's see what the chat is on that on social.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm going to say, no, I think you can have this desire to want to help and support others. But at the end of the day, it's about understanding what are your boundaries around that.
Mhm.
That's something I've really had to learn and enforce. But I don't think you need to be a people pleaser to be a good team player. You just have to have the mindset of we're here for the collective. And how can I help you do what you need to do, but yet not doing it for them?
Yes, not stepping in and filling in their shoes. I love that. I think that's a
Yes.
great concept. Thank you. So look
You're
at that.
welcome.
We're creating content in the middle of our episode here, and we're talking about giving too much power over to how you feel. I know you support female founders 40 and up to be seen and heard in a bigger way so they can live out their goals in their life. Can you share for me when we're talking about this idea of giving too much power over to others, how does that show up for your clients that you work with?
Absolutely. It shows up in a different way. And one way I'm really going to focus in on is this idea where we have to be out there, we have to be seen, we have to be heard, we have to promote ourselves. There's so many different ways to do that with different marketing strategies. There's trends that come and go. Some seem to stick around longer than others, which is all great. Where I really see it with clients really showing up and trying to please others is trying to take a strategy that seemingly works for other people. We're told this is the go-to trend. You need to implement this in your business. When they go to implement it, they feel like, okay, well, this is what everyone else is doing. I'm going to please my coach. I'm going to please who I think my audience is and what I think they want. So they take all these steps to become more visible and they don't feel good. And it becomes this, you can see it through a lack of momentum, a lack of desire, a lot of procrastination, starting and stopping, or this just every new trend looks good. So let's try that for a little bit without really committing to things. That for me, that's a sign where definitely my clients have been out there to please other people, where they've let the external results and circumstances and what people are saying really control what they believe and how they believe they should be showing up and becoming more visible. And it's not aligning with who they actually are for whatever reason. Maybe it's the wrong strategy, maybe it's the wrong time for that strategy. It's not aligning with who they are or where they are in their business or visibility journeys. And it doesn't feel good. Yet they
Yeah.
tend to stick to it because it's, well, it's what I'm told to do. It's what I should be doing. It
Mm,
worked for everybody else. So it's going to work for me, right? And then when they
yeah.
don't get the result that they're expecting, it becomes, it's me. Something's wrong with me. I did something wrong. I failed. When really it's not that case whatsoever.
Yeah. I'm so curious. I feel like I could be a case study of this for you because I hired a coach to help me with a marketing aspect. And I was, really focused on putting in the effort, taking all the steps, doing all the things, and all the while feeling this really yucky feeling in my stomach, like this isn't really feeling aligned for me. And the question that I have is, okay, so in listening to my gut, is it the fear of doing some of the things, or is it the misalignment? Is it both? How would you help someone like me who's resisting? I felt like I'm resisting doing the things. Even it didn't feel like I was resisting because of fear, but because the process that they were teaching me felt so out of alignment. So then
Yeah.
what?
Yes, yes, that's perfect. And you're really touching on something really key on going. You got to grab and build on. You feel, you felt it wasn't aligned. There is a difference between that feeling that you have around fear and doing something that's uncomfortable. It's outside your comfort zone. That has a certain feeling to it. Doing something that does not feel aligned, again, to who you are or where you are in your journey, that's a very different feeling, and it
Mhm.
comes up almost as this nagging feeling, such as almost as if someone's on your shoulder saying, like, do you really want to do this? Let's stop. Let's just think about this. Why? And it's almost, to me, it becomes this little voice is almost prodding you to ask yourself and then the person that you're working with more questions. Maybe it's a
Mhm.
lack of clarity that's causing a misalignment because you're not sure what the unknowns are. You're not understanding what the process is. What is the end result going to look like, and how do you build that backwards?
Mhm.
So it's really important. So for me, it becomes, when I work with clients, it's, where are you right now? What have you already done? So we perform a little bit of an audit to understand,
Mm.
where are you right now in your business and where do you want to be? And that's great. That if you have a big green dream, big bold goal, which I love. I love working with big dreamers and then action takers, because okay, that's that big dream goal. It could take a year to get to that end point in a way that feels more aligned to you.
Mhm.
There's so many unknowns when we start to become more visible in our business. There's technology, there's the inner work that has to happen in order
Yeah.
to fully express who we are outwardly to everybody else. So for me, it becomes, what is that big goal that you're working towards from a visibility perspective? And now let's break that down into smaller steps. What feels good to you? What is this plan that works for you? What are some strategies around achieving it? And does it feel off based on fear, which we can work with around
Mhm.
mindset and different tools and strategies? Or is there a misalignment? And the misalignment can simply become there again, there's an unknown, or it's not a strategy for you right now. So, how can we reframe that? How can we adopt certain principles of a strategy that you really want to try? Or how can you adapt the strategy to where you are right now that really makes it feel like it's your own and that feels
Mhm.
more aligned?
Wow, amazing. So you said a couple of things that I'd like to go back to in there. One, are you? when you work with individuals to support them in their visibility, is there one way that you're teaching them to follow, or how does that roll out with your clients?
No, it's completely unique to the individual. I
Mhm.
find I'm different from that's why I stepped out of coaching and more into consulting because I was
Mhm.
really big on the one-on-one and how can I help you specifically? There's no one size fits all solution to everybody. There's a great solution and great strategies. How can we then
Mhm.
take that and personalize it to you? That's where you get the alignment. That's where you get more excited to say, I get to do this. I get to show up and do
Mm.
a video with someone or be on a podcast or post on social versus, oh, I gotta be on social. I have to be
Mm.
on social. I got it. It's a totally different energy. It's a different feeling. And you want to get that. I get that. I get to do this feeling that excited, even if I'm a little bit scared feeling, because then
Mhm.
that shifts your energy and your audience sees that. They feel it. You can still be nervous. You can still be uncomfortable, especially when you're stretching and getting outside your comfort zone. But it's going to come across in how you're showing up, what you're saying, how you're saying it, and the consistency with which you're being seen and heard is going to show up so much differently when it feels aligned. So for me, the
Yes.
alignment comes from that personal touch.
Yeah, I really like that. And you mentioned inner work. So this is interesting to me. When I first met you, and I've been following you for some time, I see the pieces of we're talking about visibility, uh, getting your business out there. I didn't realize there was inner work. Can you tell me more about that?
Absolutely. So when we feel like we have to put ourselves out there, we do as business owners, like we're doing something we love to do. We have a passion for wanting to share our product, our service to help others in the world. It becomes okay. In order for people to find and hire you, they have to be able to see and hear you. So it becomes this piece where there's really two elements to getting over the fear or releasing the fear of putting yourself out there and being visible. There's either a mindset component, which is the inner work, or there's a skill set, or there's
Mhm.
both sometimes.
Yeah.
The inner work is really understanding what is that greater inner motivator. It doesn't have to be this big, beautiful why. A lot of the times we get stuck on the, well, I don't have this huge, massive, inspiring, why am I doing this? That's okay. Why
Yeah.
are you wanting to do this right now? Why is it important to you? And just sum it up into one thing. The why is important because it becomes that intrinsic motivator, that internal motivator when times get tough, when things get hard, when the barricades or obstacles are put in front of you. You have something internal driving you to say, how can I figure out a solution? Is there a different way to do this? Or how can I get help to remove what's in front of me so that I
Mhm.
can become more visible? That's the most important piece around doing the inner work is just having that why or that internal motivator, that intrinsic motivator to help you stepping out. The other part, another big part of the internal work is the mindset around our I work when I work with clients, it becomes there's common fears, doubts, and worries around
Mhm.
becoming visible. A lot of it is that internal dialogue that we have around ourselves. What do we say about ourselves to ourselves? About
Mhm.
how we look, our appearance on camera, which is a huge fear, especially for women. And when I work with women specifically over 40, it's the well, I don't have that look. We see influencers online who just look
Mm.
picture perfect and have the picture perfect backgrounds. I don't have that, so I can't put myself. Yes, you can. So it's the stories that we're
Yeah.
telling ourselves. That's the inner work as well to really reshape those stories that we're telling ourselves and to build on the beliefs. What beliefs do you have in your ability to do what it is you want to do? And how can we turn that into courageous action, which then
Mhm.
builds our confidence? That whole cycle comes from that inner work.
I love it. Danielle, I feel like we could talk all day about the words that we're choosing, the stories we're
Yep.
telling. My goodness, this is a huge passion of mine to talk about those things as well. So I feel very aligned with you. It's
Next
so
time.
great. It's so great. So when I was looking at my notes from our initial chat, this idea of giving others too much power over how we feel in relation to showing up.
Ah, yes.
showing up
Mm.
and being on camera, or can you talk a little bit about that?
Absolutely. And I'll share a story to give an example is so right now I'm a second time around entrepreneur. My first time into entrepreneurship, I chose to step out of corporate at 40, literally on my 40th birthday. I said, this is not the path for me anymore.
Mm.
That's okay. Let's figure out some other things about myself. Let's become an entrepreneur. The internet made it seem so easy. And I thought,
Thanks,
easy
internet.
peasy. Yeah, exactly. Thank you, laptop lifestyle promoting. It totally worked in my case. So I stepped out and I got into like obviously what you do as a entrepreneur, you start networking, you go to different meetings, and I was probably about a year into networking in my business where I started having multiple. It's not just one; it was multiple business coaches coming to me at meetings and just saying, you know what, like love what you're doing, what you're trying to do, but just if you want, like look around the room that you're in and try to dress more like them. So I'm a little bit of background. I'm Fortune 500 corporate, like that's me. I love to dress in those beautiful dresses. I'm a
Oh,
huge heel fan. I love shoes, and so
fun.
that's who I was. So that's why I was going to these meetings and
Yeah.
these dresses and my shoes and so I was told multiple times, look around the room. I
Wow.
definitely stood out. I felt like I was almost like Sesame Street, where they had that song, "Which one of these things doesn't belong?" And
Jeez.
I stood out in that way. But for me,
Okay.
that's what I like. That's how I like to dress.
Mhm.
And so multiple people were telling me, look around the room, see what other people are wearing, and dress more like them.
Mhm.
I thought, well, these are business coaches. They're very successful. They know what they're talking about. Okay, I'll listen to them because I want to try and succeed.
Mhm.
I wasn't seeing the success I was thinking and believing I would achieve at that point of my business. So I thought, okay, I'm obviously doing something wrong, showing up in what I feel comfortable in. So I'll just listen to them and show up looking differently. And
Mm.
it felt when you talk about that disalignment, like a lot of times people say like I feel icky about sales. I felt
Yeah.
icky about showing up as
Yeah.
somebody who I know now. That was not me. That was not authentic to who I am. I was listening again, trying to please others, and I gave all that power to someone else to say how I should be showing up, how I should look,
Mm.
how I should be dressing, which it wasn't me whatsoever. So I
Mm.
did that, and it just created this massive conflict within
Mhm.
myself around, well, this is who I am, this is where I'm told to be. And it would just I would go to networking meetings, and beforehand I would really stress about what am I supposed to wear. And then when you wear things that you're not necessarily comfortable in, that impacts your confidence and how you're showing up, how you're presenting yourself, how I was
Mm.
speaking.
Yes.
So it just made me so uncomfortable going to networking because I'm like, this isn't me. This is someone else. So when you talk about imposter syndrome, for me, that's what I think imposter syndrome is when you're showing up in a way that is not feeling aligned to who
Yeah.
you are. And that for me, this is an example of giving that power to other people around how to be visible. That just does
Mm.
not feel aligned.
That is an excellent story to describe this. Thank you. Thank you for sharing. And I also
You're
love
welcome.
heels, so I think that we have more things to talk about after this. So, but I think that there's a relationship there as well. You were talking about your physical appearance. I was, as you were telling that story, I'm like, oh my gosh, I can relate to this idea of being told that you have to, do social media a certain way, and this is the only way that you're going to get clients, or this is the only way, and if you don't, uh, you're not going to have success. Like I do believe that these words should, well, every time you were saying should, I was like, yes, this is part of us giving over this power to others. This isn't just in business, right? This is in all areas of our life. We
Yes.
can feel out of alignment or uncomfortable or frustrated when we're hearing that should energy so much. So I'd love to go back to this. this concept you brought up about not feeling ready to be visible because you don't have the perfect kitchen, or you don't have, the perfect outfit, or whatever we're shoulding that we should be doing. How do you how do you help people in that place, right?
Yeah,
What
absolutely.
shoulding?
So it comes down to really getting a really good clarity. And that's the
Mhm,
first step. I talk about clarity, creating a plan or a strategy, and an action, then taking action on
mhm,
the strategy. So getting really clear about what is the end goal that you're working towards around your visibility. And it can be, I want to feel powerful. I want to look powerful. I want to show up feeling powerful. Whatever that looks like to you, it
mhm.
could be that you've got one shirt or one dress that you love to wear. It becomes, well, you look online, everyone's always got different clothes. I've worn this dress so many times for so many different
Amazing.
podcasts or foot pictures because I love it.
Yes.
I understand now that, and I've worked with a stylist as well. But one, I love blue, so
Yeah.
and not just I love blue. I have blue eyes, so I feel it's a color that looks good on me. But I feel really good in blue.
Yes.
So it's understanding that. And so if it's you only have that one blouse that you love right now because your budget doesn't allow you to splurge and go shopping, that's okay.
Mhm.
Find one item that you truly love to wear that you feel really good in, and take pictures, lots of pictures in that outfit. Do lots of videos in the outfit. That's okay. As long as
Yeah.
it's all about you. And when I was hosting my TV show, it became
Yeah.
what to wear was the most popular question I would get from guests before they came on the
Yeah.
show. What should I wear? My feedback, my recommendation always was, do not go, if you're going to go out and buy something new. First, it was really not to wear something that you
Yeah.
already have that you're comfortable in. If you really need to go out and buy something new, buy something that you feel really good in.
Mhm.
That is like more of a solid print, because TV is a little bit different than our cameras here. More of a solid print, but that color, if there's one color that just makes you feel good, that makes you feel powerful, confident, pick that. If it's not your
Yeah.
branding color, that's okay. If it is, great. But just it's all about that, doing whatever it is that you can around yourself. Again, it's your self-image, and you can never
Mm.
outperform your self-image. So it's understanding what is that goal you're working towards. You're going to start where you are is not where you're going to stay when you're on your visibility journey. That end
Mhm.
goal is great. How can you continually take steps to get there? So it
I
could
love
be
that.
just adding that accessory that makes you feel good. When I first started getting into feeling more confident about myself, it was aviator sunglasses. It
Oh,
sounds
cool.
cheesy, but for me, they are the epitome of Top Gun cool.
Yeah.
Just to buy a pair, my first pair, not even designer, it took everything in me at the store, like, oh, but I'm not that cool person that I envision the person who wears these things to be.
Wow.
But then I thought, no, again, that inner dialogue, I'm
Mhm.
changing to say, you know what? I am that cool person, and I'm going to show up as that person wearing these glasses. And
Wow.
it just, I put them on and I feel cool. Again, it's all these little things, there's little
Yeah.
things that we can do. It's the internal work and aligning it with the external, the external action as well.
Actions. Yeah.
Really helps you to, when you become more visible, you do it in ways that feel good to you, regardless of what everyone else is doing, and understanding that, get clear on that goal. What are you working towards when it comes to your visibility? And understand where you are. This is your starting place. It's
Mhm.
not your ending place. You're going to grow, you're going to evolve. It's not where you're going to stay.
I love it. I love it. This has been a wonderful conversation, and I know that you have a free download for the listeners. Can you tell us a little bit about that, please?
Absolutely. So I am big on when it comes to visibility, keeping things as simple and easy as
Mhm.
possible. If you head on over to my website, daniellejoworski.com, there's a resources tab. You can download the resource, and it is a free must-have visibility tools. I go through my top 3 that I use all the time. And the best thing is they also have free versions as well. So they're
Yeah.
visibility tools to create simplicity in your business and showing up to make it much easier and at the right price.
Amazing. Well, Danielle, thank you so much for being on Power to the People Pleasers today. Just to highlight for those people who want to connect with you other than your website, I'll put all of the links and everything in the show notes, but you're on LinkedIn at your name as well as on Instagram. Danielle A. Jaworski. So make sure that you go to the right place on Instagram to connect with Danielle. It's been such a wonderful time talking. I can't wait to see your shoe collection.
I love to compare.
A new best friend. I hope you have a wonderful day, and thank you for your incredible wisdom today.
No, thank you so much, Amy, for this opportunity.
And to all of our listeners, I want to thank you once again for tuning into Power to the People Pleasers. Please stay tuned for our next episode coming soon. Have a great day.